Alright, the riders. Welcome back to another video. Back home, I know, and you guys all know, that I normally don't do this style of video. I normally don't. I know it's just shy of 7 months, but there's something fucking happened today that, after I do the past 2 days of videoing for the riding channel, it's no longer going to be with us. And the reason why I say it's only been just shy of 7 fucking months is because I had the bike for, I'm not going to show you the new one yet because I'll get there. So I only had the bike for just over 6 months because I bought it New Year's Eve or Thanksgiving was on fucking the 24th, I think. And then I bought that one the day after. Thanksgiving. No, the Thanksgiving I think was on the 23rd. I don't remember. So all I remember was the day after Thanksgiving. Sorry, I'm kind of turning my phone around here so I don't show the bike yet. So I had the bike for just over 6 months. The Reed Aries. My blue bike. And I started having, fucking issues with it. Starting when it was swarming up. The chain was stretched and it was skipping. When I had it brought in for the yearly tune-up, which would have been the first one under me, and I brought it back. I said the chain was skipping a tiny bit. A skip here, skip there. Chuck checked it. The chain was fine. So then I bring it back. So I basically wasted fucking money for nothing. So then I brought it back saying, I said, I found a couple more problems again. That was shit that I didn't like with it. I know it was shit that I couldn't fix. So, I know it was shit I couldn't fix. So it's, obviously what do you do? Bring it into the pros. So Chuck helped. He's like, hey, what's going on? I said, all right. I said, found a couple more problems. I know it's something I can't fix on my own. I told him I can't do it on my own because I don't have the tools, let alone a lot of the knowledge that the bike shop employees have. So I'm, I go to them for the stuff me personally can't do. So, what is that? Something pink over here. I'm going to go look. So, brought in, got it fixed. Still creaking. I had that creaking fixed. And then the chain had to be replaced, which is, I called it on that. So, then I get the bike back, whatever. You guys knew that. As I was doing the Hood Tour episodes with it. And then we go up on Friday, and all that. I go up Friday, and we come home today. Now we got this little receiver thing, it's a receiver. What I call a receiver may be something different from you. What you guys may call a receiver, but trailer hitch receiver, in my eyes, is where the trailer, you put a hitch in a truck, and you pull, you put the trailer on the hitch, you pull the trailer. So we bought, they make receivers for mounting on the back of campers. It's just for like mounting bike carriers. You're not meant to pull with it. It's just for a bike carrier. So we put, Dad comes and gets me on Friday from home. Oh, fucking, I lost my scissors. There's nothing I can fucking do about it now. So Dad comes back home on Friday, gets me, throws the bike carrier in the truck, bike's in the truck. I had to finish getting ready and all that because I just got up by the time he got home. So, he got home, I was getting up. So, sorry, I'm kind of in a destructive mood right now, so because of this. So then we leave. I throw my duffel bag in the back seat of the truck because Dad went up Thursday night, because we had the site done already, Thursday morning. So then we we throw the bike carrier in the back of the camper and we throw the bikes on today to go home, to come home. When we get home, I know I'm dragging this. I'm kind of explaining this a little differently from the vlog. So we get home. Mom and Keegan, my brother, you've seen him a small handful of times in the channel before. He is a kid that had the prescription glasses that had the, when they go out in sunlight, they turn dark. He is the one on the black 24-inch Next mountain bike that went down the stairs at Preble. If you go way back and watch my shorts, that was him wearing all black and the black 24-inch Next. So we were coming home, like I said, and we take all back roads from Bay Shore home and then from home up the Bay Shore. We stay off of 57 because of the traffic. They can't allow us to get through or, move over to get off. So, get home. And like I said, Mom and Keegan beat us home because they had the dogs and we told them that they can just go. Get home, Keegan was like, "Where's your fucking bike?" Meaning my bike. He's like, "What? He's like, "Where's Cole's fucking bike?" He's like, should be on the fucking back of the camper. I said, "Yeah, I put it on this morning before we hooked up." And he's like, "Well, it's not fucking there." So I kind of slammed the fucking door in the truck, which I didn't mean to. I just fucking slammed it to shut it so I can fucking go look to make sure my brother wasn't fucking with me. Because there's times that we'll do that. We'll fuck with each other. Oh, you guys know about that already. Never mind. So then I go and look, and it's not on the fucking carrier. It's just Dad's. I'm like, what? And I yelled, "What the fuck?" And I just fucking blew a fucking fuse. I just fucking wasn't having it. And I was like, I put it the fuck on there, So then I fucking jumped in the fucking Kia, Mom's new vehicle. Me and her took off. He's like, "Go," because Dad's like, "Go find your fucking bike." And he's like, "All right." I wasn't even going to worry about helping unpack. He said, "Me and Keegan got it," or they were looking at the bike carrier and see what the fuck happened, or try to figure out what the fuck happened, let alone it was my fault. To try to shorten the story a little bit, it was my fucking fault. So, what came down to it is the bike we hit a bump. I didn't realize I didn't have the top because on certain bike carriers, or, the bike carriers that have the saddles, that the tires sit in. And then they have a bar that comes down on the top tube to hold it there. I didn't know, I didn't realize that I didn't put the bar down tight enough. We hit a bump, fell off the fucking bike carrier, and now it's gone. My blue bike is gone. That was a fucking $700 loss in my eyes. Because now I had to go out and buy a new fucking bike. New to me again. Mom said, well, Dad said, why don't you go buy brand new? Mom kind of said that too, and I said, dude, I kind of got, smart with Mom, and I wasn't intending nothing. I didn't intend to get smart with her, and I just said, dude, you don't fucking realize that I don't ride cheap shit. I didn't say it like that, but I said, you don't realize how fucking expensive the bikes I ride are, brand new. My blue bike was $1,400 brand new. Paid half that for it. The green bike, I paid what it was worth brand new, $700. I paid $700 for the green bike, sold it for I think $300, which is just under. I had it posted for $400. Because the dude that bought it offered $275, and I said, dude, I do $350 at the lowest. And he hit me with $300, and I took it. Because I just wanted the fucking bike gone, because I think at the time I had the Iron Horse at home, which was my mountain bike at Grandma's. You guys seen it for a little while. So I had the Iron Horse at home, the green bike at home, Dad's Reed at home, my blue bike at home. So there's 4 fucking fat tires sitting there, or 4 bikes sitting there, all worth over $1,000, brand new. But I knew the Iron Horse, I wouldn't get that out of it because the bike is so fucking old and outdated. So I sold the Iron Horse, had to get rid of the fucking green bike. Or no, I still had the green bike yet. And then I bought the blue one, had to get rid of the green one because I was having problems with the fucking green bike, so it's... So now I had to take the $700 loss. Well, I say $1,400 because that's what the bike was worth. But it was already 5 fucking years old, so and it wasn't, in perfect order. Perfect working order, the bottom bracket bearings were fucking creaking and nothing was original, and, because I had to fucking change shit out. And then it goes and falls off the back of the fucking camper. So then we get home, and then Mom and Keegan are like, your bike's fucking gone, dude. Knowing that, and I know they wouldn't fuck with me, but I was thinking at first they were fucking with me. And they were not fucking with me, and it's gone. So then we jumped up in the Kia, me and Mom. Dad said, go find your bike. Me and Keegan got the camper. It's like, okay. So then me and Mom fucking jumped in the Kia, fucking ran up and down fucking the back. I call it the back way. Me and Mom ran up and down the fucking back way twice. We went once one way and we came back, for the second time from the other direction. So we ran all the way up to Bay Shore. I said, it's not up here because I know it was on the camper when we fucking left. So now I have a Norco Bigfoot. It's like a dark candy apple red, it's a darker red. I'm staying, red and black theme. I'm not going to change a whole lot out. I may, order, how is that going to work though? Oh yeah, I could fucking order the red stem bolts like what I got Dad for his bike. But because I may give Dad these grips for his bike. So now I don't have to deal with that fucking creaking anymore, the chain jumping anymore. So, because it's a 1x12 internal cable, so 112. The drive line's only about 1.5 years old. Brand new pedals, brand new seat, brand new grips, brand new tires that are studdable, but I'm not going to stud them because I don't feel like riding in the winter. So, it's got the through axle, front axle, in the front, and then it's got the quick release in the rear yet, which I don't understand why they didn't want just put both through axles in the whole entire bike. I always wanted a bike with both front and rear through axles, but I don't know, whatever. So yeah, you guys will be seeing this in the next Hood Tour episode. So I just got to figure out what episode or where I left off. So I'm not gonna write it down because I got 2 days of fucking riding to upload yet with the blue bike. So that'll be the last time you guys see the blue bike is from this past weekend. So, but anyway, guys, I'm pushing 16 fucking minutes, so I'm gonna end the video here, or pushing 17. Sorry. So I'm gonna end the video here. I'll see you guys in the next video.